It's an honor for the Holocaust Survivor Support Fund to sponsor Big Sonia at the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival. To see and hear Sonia's story and her perspective on life after all she's been through is endearing and truly inspiring.
I won't be giving too much away by saying that Big Sonia is a diminutive Holocaust survivor from Poland who created a formidable life for herself and her family after the war in Kansas City. What this new life entails and how it affects not only her children and grandchildren, but also the many people with whom she comes in contact is what the film asks us to contemplate. To my memory, this film is the first I've come across that includes the soul wounds, as theologians would say, of their children, and by being witnesses of their grandchildren. But do not despair, for however much Sonia and other survivors have suffered, they also change hearts and minds. Big Sonia is an authentic, modest, and powerful documentary, as is its heroine, and has already won a number of awards for its co-directors, including the Best Documentary and Audience Award at the Napa Valley Film Festival. And now, ladies and gentlemen, get set to meet the one and only Big Sonia.
It's really, for a normal person, it's very difficult to understand. And you always kind of think, oh, it will come back on me. You know what I mean?
Thank you very much.
How did you convince Sonia to do this film?
Well, Sonia's always wanted to be a movie star. So she actually enjoys being on camera, which is great for people who are trying to film her.
What compelled you to do this film?
Leah and I met on a film previous to this one called Finding Hollywood, and thank you. And somewhere during the process of finishing that film, Leah coaxed me into a visit to Kansas City to meet her grandmother to vet the idea of making a film about her grandmother and the shop and the impact that she has on people in that shop and just the character that she is innately. I think within 20 minutes we knew we had at least a short film, and that was the intent. We followed her to a classroom where we met Caroline, and I think about that time we realized we were in for something longer than a short film.
I was also very moved by Maury, the son, and that really very powerful poem that he wrote quite young. How did you get him to agree to show that scene?
So Maury's my dad, and that's a difficult one. I mean, even I don't usually stay in the theater for that one. It's still difficult for me to watch, but I think, ultimately, so we didn't know that was going to happen when we sat down to interview my dad. We were actually just going to talk to him about the state of the shop. Everything was in flux.
Talk about records or something.
Talk about records, something else. And he literally did find that book that now has sold more copies on Amazon after people want the entire book than it's ever sold in its lifetime. So that's been revived. But he found that just kind of on a whim, and really it happened as you saw it. We didn't expect him to break down. He obviously didn't expect to break down. And then we had to decide, well, does that need to be in the film or not? Thankfully, my dad trusts us enough to know that it might be uncomfortable for him, but ultimately it makes the film better. And if it's the right thing to do for the film, then that's what's more important to him. So,
how did you decide to include Caroline and also the inmates?
I mean, that's Sonia's life. And we knew early on that we didn't just want to make a family film, and we didn't just want to make a Jewish film, and we didn't just want to make a Holocaust film. And so we're trying to please many gods. so to speak. And we're trying to reach the broadest audience that we can. And that means that we have to go beyond the shop. And Caroline was a blessing because we didn't know that she was going to decide on her own without us producing it to start her own foundation. And then things kind of came full circle. So that was a welcome surprise. And the inmates, you know, you saw Sue Ellen Freed, and that was exactly how it happened. She literally saw a article in the newspaper about the shop closing and saw the Optimist Creed, and they used the Optimist Creed in her group, and she reached out to Regina, and Regina immediately contacted us and said, I think you guys would be interested in seeing this.
3 days later, we were in prison.
Yes, and then we were in prison.
How is Sonia now, and what did she think of the film?
She's doing great. It's Sunday, so this is the one day she's not at work. I think it's Sunday. She's still going in 6 days a week. She is 91. She turned 91 during our world premiere of the movie, which was really fun for her. And you know, when we started making this film, I think she thought it was just going to be a family movie. And even until we were done with it, I don't think she realized that this is what we do for a living, because she was still telling us to go get a real job. So I think she's just starting to get that. But she did, when we showed her a rough cut, finally sat down in her living room and just us showed it to her. One of the first things she said was, you know, I get it. I get that this is more than a movie. And I get that this is going to please help if you can and tell people that you saw it and liked it. And that's really, we're grateful for your support in that. So thank you. And thank you for coming here on a Sunday and just being part of this. And so many people stayed to listen to us, and we're really grateful that you were here. So thank you.
So thank you, everyone, for coming. And do tell people about this great film. And thank you so much, Leah and Todd,
you.
for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you, all.